Yo, this is Spanky Hayes. Yeah, that guy. Faux Pac, the funniest guy ever, ... yada, yada, yada. You're watching Knockouts and 3 Counts. Well, you're not watching it, you're listening to it. But you're listening so hard that you can see it.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to
Knockouts and 3 Counts.
Yes, sir. This is Knockouts and 3 Counts. We're here once again with another episode of Podcast Gold.
Literally this time.
Yes, sir. Kyle, how you doing, sir?
I feel like absolute shit, but I'm excited for this interview. I learned a valuable lesson. You know, when you stand outside and you play softball and it's pouring, it tends to make you not feel so good.
Yeah, and I'm having old man moments. I hurt my back, and yeah, I don't feel good. But
I feel good about what we're about to do, though.
Yeah, man, we got a great guest calling in, and he'll be calling in a little bit. But until then, hey, man, we had a great time this past weekend at BCWA. If you guys weren't there, shame on you.
You missed a barn burner, dude. They had Dread King Logan and Orlando Christopher tore the house down, literally.
Definitely. And make sure you come out August 24th. Yeah, for the next BCWA show. They're taking July off to give you guys a break, enjoy your summer. But come on out August 24th for the next BCWA show. I'm definitely looking forward to that. I
don't got to worry about getting off work.
Yes. Man, what's going on in the world of, well, maybe not wrestling right now because I'm not watching WWE. But what's going on in the world of MMA and indie wrestling right now, man?
I don't know, man. It's all the buzz right now obviously has been around AEW. You've got Fyter Fest, all that good stuff.
Uh-oh. We got a call.
Hello?
Yeah. Ricky Morton.
Yes, sir. Well,
what's going on? How you doing, brother, man?
Kyle, why don't you go ahead and introduce our guest, man?
On the line with us, we've got WWE Hall of Famer and one half of the Rock and Roll Express, Ricky Morton. How you doing, brother, man?
Man, I'm alive.
That's what I said this morning, too.
No kidding. After I got older, if I have a bad day, it's my own fault. And I don't know if it's because I got older and mellowed out or the medication the doctor put me on. I don't know. It's one of those.
Well, they say they say your worst day above ground is better than your best day underground. So we'll go with that.
Yeah, I'm just messing with you guys.
Oh, for sure.
What's up?
Not much, brother.
What's going on with y'all guys tonight?
Not much, man. Just finally getting some nice weather, man. The weather in Michigan's been giving us all 4 seasons within like the week lately. So,
dude, I know it. I'm same way down here. I'm up here. I'm in the East Tennessee, Bristol, Tri-Cities area, Johnson City, Bristol, Kingsport.
Ooh,
it's the same way. It's to be this time of year and it's 52 degrees in the night.
I hear you, man.
That's man, that's not.
That's not what it should be in the middle of June.
That's not normal. I can tell you that.
I totally hear you. Well, you mentioned Bristol, man. I've been seeing you on the episodes of Bristol that they've had for Vice. Let us know a little bit about that and what you've been doing with that.
Oh, man, that was just a little thing I did, talking about the town here and the reason I'm here and the reason I came here to, and the main thing is get out of the hustle and bustle of the big cities. I lived in Charlotte, Nashville, Atlanta, San Antonio, Tampa, Oklahoma City,
World travel for sure.
And, being in our business, that's not all of them either, but being in our business, you did that. And, I like the small town feeling. You hear me?
Right.
You don't have the 5 o'clock traffic. You don't have the bustle. And instead of me driving through it now, I fly. So it's a lot better. But
well, let me just say first to the people who might not know who you are, we have a WWE Hall of Famer, one member of, in my mind, if not the greatest, one of the greatest tag teams of all time, one of the greatest white meat baby faces of all time, Mr. Ricky Morton on the line. So,
all right, I got you.
So, the first question I have is that when people say things like that, like Hall of Famer, one of the greatest this, one of the greatest that, does that make you feel weird hearing like all these like great accolades about yourself?
Well, And I'll tell you the truth, it makes you feel kind of good. No, I just, you know what, dude?
At least he's straight up with it.
I gave my life to this business. A lot of people don't understand that. I was back in territory days, and we literally starved to death. And then, we worked our way up. And our business has been at the right place at the right time.
Right.
Our business was changing from your 350-pound baby faces. And you got to understand this, guys. And I'm going to sit here, I'm going to explain the situation to you. I know you asked me a different question, but I'm hearing this leading in everything I'm talking about.
Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
People ask me, says, do you wish territories would come back? Well, no, I don't wish territories to come back. And the reason why is because the territory was owned by one guy.
Right.
So I take, for instance, in Michigan, the Sheik owned it. Okay.
Legendary.
And in every,
Oh, Sheik was a legend up here.
Yes, but you see it. Yeah, he was a great legend, and and everything. But see, he owned the territory.
Right.
So if you was a young baby face, you didn't have a chance. You see what I'm saying? Because you're not going to get over him. And I'm not knocking him. I'm just telling you the way the business was. It was like that everywhere. In Louisiana, you couldn't get over Bill Watts.
Right.
In Tampa, you couldn't get over Dusty. He was the booker. And it's just the way the things were. And don't get me wrong, it was hard. Robert and I was at the right place at the right time. Bill Watts owned Louisiana territory, Texas and Mississippi, and he was retired, and he wanted to keep his wrestling business going, so we wanted to try something different. So what we did, and he hired a booker that couldn't wrestle, because he hired a booker that wrestles, he pushes himself.
Right.
And you see what I'm saying there, dude? We was at the right place at the right time.
Well,
everything that we did was hard work, buddy. I mean, go ahead now.
Well, let me ask you a question about that. Like, that's actually one of the questions I wanted to ask you was about what was it like coming up in the territory days. But as far as
we got that answered.
I was like, it sounds like you need to have your own podcast, man.
He does.
Yes,
he does.
But
I do, man. School of Morton, listen to it.
That's what I was about to say. I was about to say he does. I do listen to it.
Right. But as far as your time coming up in the territories, man, like what was your favorite territory to work in?
Well, really the hour ago, Louisiana was one of the greatest learning experiences. Well, Memphis, Tennessee was. And I got to say that, I was Jerry Lawler and Bill Dundee. I liked it because I was a young kid, and this is when it broke into business and the territory popped. And guys, and I'm telling you, and you take this for instance, I'm going to say this. If WWE came to Detroit every Monday night, you hear me? Mm-hmm. Every Monday night. By the fourth week, you wouldn't have 20 people in there watching wrestling. Do you hear what I'm saying?
Right.
And I'm serious. If they come there every week, but see, buddy, we wrestled in Memphis every Monday night, and it was, I don't know what the building held, maybe 12, 15,000.
Memphis Coliseum.
It was sold out. It was sold out every Monday night.
Wow.
You hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Tuesday night was in Louisville at the Louisville Gardens.
Okay.
Sold out every Tuesday night. Wednesday, Evansville, sold out every Wednesday night. This was in Nashville every Saturday night. You see, it's the difference in our business, but you got to understand, you didn't have the football teams, the baseball teams.
Right.
You didn't have all that stuff going on in these towns at the time. It's like Charlotte, North Carolina. When we was in Charlotte, one of the biggest territory I ever worked. I mean, that was big time territory. Charlotte, you didn't have the Charlotte Hornets. You didn't have the Carolina Panthers. When you rolled into town up 85, there was a billboard hanging up of me and Robert and Ric Flair. Watch Mid-Atlantic wrestling every Saturday. It's cool. We really got over it. But seeing, and people ask me, and I'm on a roll here, so let me know. People ask me a lot, man, how did it feel being 8-time World Tag Team Champions? Well, you see, in our day, you didn't draw money when the babyface had the belts. I don't know if you know that or not, or understand what I'm fixing to say, because people came every week to watch us beat the Midnight Express or the Russians or the Four Horsemen. But they screwed us every week. You see, because in the next week, we're going to come back to a match where they can't screw us that way. And they screw us another way until you have your big blow-off. Then when you have your big blow-off, the babyface goes over, and right when you win, either the other heel team will run in and get on you, and you start a program with them.
Right.
Or you beat the Four Horsemen for the belts, and after you beat them, they put the boots to you, get the heat back on them.
So that brings
and
me
even
to...
though we were... Beg your pardon?
I was going to say, that brings me to a question that I wanted to ask. You led me right into it. So, with you and Robert, you guys were like one of the first tag teams that I can really remember where you were on that level, like you mentioned. Like, there was the billboard of you guys, and then there was Ric Flair. Talk a little bit about that. Talk a little bit about that, about as far as what it was like to have a tag team that was on the same level, popularity-wise in a lot of places as the singles, because that doesn't happen very often.
You know what, buddy? And I'm going to say this. And sometimes people don't agree with you. You have haters and you have everything, but I love you all anyway. I can't even
love you too, Ricky.
I can't even explain to tell you how at this time and era. I'm telling you, it's like I said before. Robert and I were rock stars, and we didn't really even know it at the time. Dude couldn't go nowhere. I did a program with Rick, but you got to understand, when Robert and I won the World Tag Team titles, we traveled all over the country like Ric Flair did too, defending the world titles. You still had territories there. We'd go into Kansas City. We'd go into Fritz Von Erich's territory. We'd go out to Portland, Oregon, defending the belts. You always went in and worked with their... because Robert and I worked heel and babyface. A lot of people didn't understand that. Off the NWA territory, we're babyfaces. But, if you go into Portland, Oregon and wrestle Billy Jack Haynes and somebody, that's their top babyface. You understand me?
Right.
And we just told stories of the matches. It was very easy to do stuff like that. 9 out of 10 times, you want an hour time limit. But being on a level like that. But you see, what was great about it was great. And this is my own fault, and I'm going to tell you, I wasn't educated enough to know and understand that Jimmy Crockett just ripped our asses off. You hear me?
Really?
And it's, I can't blame Jimmy. It was my own fault, because I wasn't educated enough to know. You're working on top. You try to get along. You try to make it. You are making decent money.
Mm-hmm.
But you should have been making millions. You hear me?
Right.
And I'm serious. Robert and I, I don't know if you remember, we had the rock and roll super summer sizzling thing.
Yep.
But we had on the Rock and Roll Express fan club. Now, in that fan club gimmick was a life-size poster, a record, and believe me or not, I had a record that went plywood. No, I'm just kidding. The record. It sold over 1 million copies because it sold over 1 million rock and roll fan club things.
Right. That's
sold for $19.95. That was over 1 million. So we talking about $19 million.
Yeah.
Robert and I didn't even get a penny of that money.
Wow.
Damn.
Do you hear what I'm saying? Yes. Oh no, didn't get a penny of it. And then that's what I'm trying to say to guys. People just didn't even understand how they really just tortured us, ripped us off. And by the time, the contracts were being signed, me and Robert were already gone. You hear what I'm saying?
Well, let me ask you a question based on. Let me ask you a question based on that. So, you're saying you guys were. I mean, when you think about tag team wrestling, Rock and Roll Express is definitely one of the names that come up, and you had opportunities to make millions. So, what would you say to these young? Not even just tag teams, young wrestlers coming up in the business today to, make those millions of dollars and capitalize on those opportunities that they're generating.
Yeah, buddy. I mean, what do I say to them?
Right.
Get you an agent. Get you an agent and get you an accountant. Now, it's And they do. I don't know if you understand it or realize it. A lot of the boys have agents.
Yep.
And they go in and wheel the deal. I mean, I'm not talking about it in NXT. I'm talking about when they get out and then they get to working. And what's wrong with their business? I watch Monday Night Raw, and I'm so bored. I mean, sometimes I am, dude. I mean, I think they're looking for that next John Cena or that next Rock or the next Steve Austin.
Right.
And they're going through the boys like flies, and nothing's really meaning nothing to me. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, trust me, I understand.
If you're a booker, see, I'm from the old school. If you want a guy over, you get him over. You hear what I'm saying?
Right.
If you want a heel over, you get him over. Sometimes you got to break hearts to do that. But which Vince don't give a shit anyway. He'll break your heart. He don't care. But it's not what I'm saying, though.
Right.
The boys have got wrapped. That's the reason tag team wrestling's not dead. It's just because nobody knows how to do it anymore. The Revival does a great job. I watch them guys.
Definitely.
And the New Day, because they feed off each other. See, that's what you got to do. When you're a tag team, you got two of you. It's not just one of you. And nowadays, when they just put tag teams together on TV, like so-and-so be partners with him tonight.
Right.
Well, hell, if I want to see all that flying around, I go to the damn circus. I want to see, I go see the trampoline, the flying something brothers at the circus.
The Shrine Circus, the Ringling Brothers. Yeah, I got you.
And then it gets to the point where you see somebody do a big move, and I'm serious, they do a great big move, but you have 20 people on the floor catching them. So, I mean, what the hell? I mean, I can understand, but after you see it 7 or 8 times, you see the guy go up there and you see him come off, but then you'll see it takes half the territory to come out there and catch him. And that's what I don't like. Man, our business is such one of the great, but I have a wrestling school called the School of Morton. And I do a lot of seminars. But see, people, before you can do my business, you've got to understand it. It's about getting, they have went to the corporate business so much trying to get their ratings up. So I guess they do have them up because they're, the boys are making a lot of money. I don't know.
How does,
but I just know. Beg your pardon?
I was going to say, how does, with you still being out wrestling now, you and Robert, and obviously not as much as you were before, but, how does that work for you guys when you're, wrestling some of these newer guys out on the indies? Like you said, it's just their whole philosophy is so different,
a lot of stuff. Recently we got to wrestle the Briscoe boys at LAX.
Yep.
And let me tell you, man, these guys are unbelievable. Now, the reason why I did stuff with them is why? It's because I trusted them with my body. You understand me? I didn't have to worry about them dropping me on my head or trying to do some kind of big move for them that puts me in risk, because I don't do nothing to put them in risk. That's what our business is about, man. It's I'm kind of lost here because I'm trying to explain something. And I tell this to the guys at my school all the time. I'm trying to explain to this, but my daddy told me the same thing when he was training me years ago. I'll be better off talking to that wall, because you're not going to get what I'm saying to you right now until later on in your career. And boy, and when it does, it hits you because you're thinking about, man, I want to do this, I want to do that, but it don't mean nothing. Now, but it's entertainment. Out in the independent circuit, sometimes, Robert and I was wrestling a tag team not long ago, and me and Robert took one of them to hold. He told him to duck. Robert hauled off and hit me. We threw the guys out on the floor. Me and Robert wrestled. You know what? But it was. But our match was 100 times better than the ones we're going to have with them guys.
Sure.
You see what I'm saying? But we're out here. Robert and I still do good, man.
Right.
We still entertain the people. It ain't what you do; it's how you do it.
You guys
And
definitely do. And you brought up the Briscoes match at the Crockett Cup and all that stuff. Tell us a little bit about what your thoughts are on that whole event, like how they brought back the Crockett Cup, you working with a young team like the Briscoes, and like, you know, what are your thoughts on like the resurgence with that stuff? Because you guys were definitely at the forefront of the original NWA.
Well, buddy, it's great. You know, I don't know if Billy Corgan's really. I don't really know if he's really out there to bring NWA back, because if he did, he'd be running shows every night.
Sure.
Or every 2 weeks. I really don't know, but I know, to me, it was a great honor for them to ask me to be there, to be a part of the Crockett Cup, and to be a part of NWA in Ring of Honor. To be, you know, it's really good. You know, we still got that in us. You know, I'm wanting to work with my bucket list is with the Young Bucks. I want to do a little match with them. We just wrestled Christopher Daniels and his partner in Nashville, Tennessee, and had one hell of a match with them guys too. That was for House of Hardcore with
Tommy
Dreamer.
Right.
Yes, man, and I think it was the biggest crowd of people in Nashville I've seen in 15 years at that old building. Because not only us, but you good wrestling companies like House of Hardcore, like NWA,
right.
Ring of Honor, they're giving the people something to see, and it's not the same crap that you see on Monday night every week.
I can't even argue it at all.
You know what, dude? They're bringing back old school. You know, Cody Rhodes with this new company that he just opened up.
Yep.
And that's the reason they're doing so good, is because they're doing something different. They're bringing back the old school of wrestling, buddy, and it works. And you see a lot of things you got to understand. This is like racing. You know, NASCAR racing. They're not doing worth a crap on. They probably do on ratings, but it don't really matter either. But I live here in Bristol, Tennessee,
right?
And I know. But see, I used to be a big racing fan, but hell, now I don't know who's even racing. you see what I'm saying? I watch the race. I know who these guys are, and it's the same thing they're doing in WWE. You know, you don't know who the hell they are.
Well, Rick,
you know, you got to build that guy. You got to make that character. You got to, but you can't have him on TV going a 10 to 15 minute match with somebody that you don't know. You got to put him in there and get this guy over. That's the reason in our days we had job boys, but there wasn't job boys, but your guys in the middle.
Right.
You go out and get yourself over. And it's not about hurting nobody. You're doing that right there. I'm just talking about me and Robert. They jumped me and Robert with not one to the floor, spin around, double drop kick. See, in 30 seconds, we got more done than they do in a 10-minute match, because we made and make the people. And on independent circuit too, you watch matches. I have a guy that you watch my match. So I went out and was watching the matches. What do you think? I asked him, I said, did you watch the match before yours? He says, no. I said, y'all had the same damn match.
Exactly.
Exactly. Y'all did the same spots. You did everything the same. I said, and I told him, I said, I'm going to do something different tonight. I'm going to go out and grab a headlock. Damn. And I'm actually telling you the truth, man.
Right.
This business is the greatest business in the world.
I agree.
It's nothing in the world that I love more. And guys, I could tell you this, and it's a lot of people think the ones that act like they know what my business is about is really the ones that really don't know shit. It's a difference between. It's a different, and look, like if I'm standing here and I've got my hand at a level, it's a difference between having your hand at your chin, you've been to that level, then put your hand over the top of your head and be at that level.
Wow.
Because when you're in a territory and every wrestler in the world is dependent on you to feed their family, and to have good stuff, nice stuff, see, it's a whole different ball game, boys. When you get paid by how many asses you put in those seats, then you'll see a whole lot different wrestling. You hear me?
Yes, sir.
It's yeah, it's because you go and.
Well, Ricky, let me ask
It's
you.
just to me, but you know, my opinion's like my butt. Everybody's got one. You know what I'm saying?
Well, Ricky, we got
ahead.
a Facebook question, and you kind of touched on it a little bit. Someone wants to know, like, what are your thoughts on the Young Bucks? You hear a lot of people saying that the Young Bucks are killing the business. From a tag team expert like yourself, like, what are your thoughts on the Young Bucks?
For this time, I think they're absolute. I think they're great. You know, it's just what the people want to see, and they can work too, buddy.
Definitely.
Don't think they can't. You know, don't think they can't. Young Bucks. I think they're great.
How do you think they would have worked like back in the old days?
Oh, we're back in our old days. But see, but they're doing their half lines and they're doing their things. That's what they want. But how I mean, how do they compare? I mean, I lost your question there.
No, I was just saying.
What was you?
I'm just saying, like you talk about how big they are in the business now. Like, if you'd put them maybe back in your guys' time, like, how do you think they would have fared with, like, teams like you guys, the Midnight Express? You had the Four Horsemen you mentioned. Like, how do you think that a team from today like that would fare with you guys back then?
Yeah, but you got to understand, from a team today, you have the Revivals, you have the Young Bucks, and you have the New Day. To me, rest of them don't mean nothing. You understand? I mean, I don't.
I do.
You're getting back to what you're saying. You know, they're not even doing tag team wrestling. Young Bucks, brother, you know, they work. The two brothers,
right,
Matt and them, you know, they work together good. You see, that's what I'm talking about. You know, it's like Rob. And this is how I told somebody it was a tag match of the night. I said, "We're going to do something different tonight." And they said, "What's that?" I said, "They're going to get the heat on me." Other words, do you know what I meant by that?
Yes,
definitely.
Always sold gay Robert the hot tag, you know, and that was it.
Right.
Even when Crockett would go out, the guy goes, "Oh man, what kind of high spots you want to do?" I said, "Dude, I don't do high spots. You get the heat on me, I give Robert a hot tag," and that's what we do. You know what I'm saying? That's how you draw money. Then I went into the, a little single program with Ric Flair. Oh my God, 17 nights in a row. Twice on Saturday and twice on Sunday, hour time limits with Flair in single matches. Made Ric Flair broke a lot of records for Crockett at the time in that period. A lot of the buildings are tore down now, but besides the Greensboro Coliseum, but they may had to make it bigger. We all went to New Big. We were there. I mean, I think Robert and I were I don't know if you've ever been in Charlotte, North Carolina, but they had the regular little building that held about 2,000 people. Back.
Not sure about
every in Charlotte, Blackjack Mulligan, and then we did the thing where Robert and I come in. We moved to Bojangles Arena, where it held 15,000 people. So that's a big jump in it, bro.
Right.
Yeah.
We're going from 2,000 to 15,000 every time, and then Greensboro 25,000 people, and I'm talking in 1985, 86, and 87.
Mm-hmm.
Unbelievable, man. And these towns are ever not. It was a big territory. You was either in Greenville, South Carolina, on a Monday, or you was in. Let me think here, dude. Fayetteville, North Carolina.
Right.
You only had two towns going. And Robert and I, we really, it was just a different time and a different place.
Gotcha.
Just, and in my business here, I have no regrets. I did a lot of bad stuff.
Yeah,
but
we won't go into that.
I wasn't the only one.
Hey, ain't nobody perfect, bro.
Only one. Go ahead, man.
I just said ain't nobody perfect, so. But I do got to ask.
No, buddy, it's not. Go ahead.
I got to ask you one question. So you mentioned about some of the matches you guys are still having now. You and Robert faced a couple of our buddies and friends of the show from here in Detroit, the Bumpin' Uglies, a little while back. Do you remember that match? That we just
how long ago was this?
Well, you probably won't remember. It was a couple years ago, but I just saw their picture come up on the Facebook thing, and I told them to tune in because we were having you come on today. But he tells us all the time that's one of their favorite matches as a tag team.
Yeah, the Mysterious
Man,
Movado
you know
and
if it
Bubba
was,
McKenzie.
It was good. I mean, but dude, you got to understand. I still wrestle 3 or 4 nights.
Oh,
a
for
week.
sure. And that's why I said that after I said that. I was like, you're not going to remember.
And one day runs into the next day. I'm serious, buddy.
I bet.
You know, I move in on from town to town. You know, I just got to get my things. You know what, guys? And please don't think I'm rude.
Oh, not at all. Not at all.
My wife's home, too, and I'm home. I got to leave tomorrow. But thank you for having me on your show. And appreciate you doing all this. And I'd like to come back.
We'd love to have you whenever you'd like.
Stop. I don't know if it makes sense or does make sense.
No, you're good.
But I just want to tell everybody out there that's listening, I love what I do. I loved always what I've done. I come from a wrestling family, and Robert did too, his brother Ricky Gibson. That when we come, we never forgot where we came from. I love the wrestling fans. I love all the boys. I don't hate nobody. And you get a chance to come out and watch Robert and I. Come out and see us. So we're going to be, you go on my Facebook, Ricky Morton, Instagram, the Babyface Ricky Morton.
All right.
And another Facebook for my wrestling school of Morton. And you can see where we're going to be at. Love for you to come and see us. Thank you for having me on your show.
Definitely plan
and
on
the
it.
people out there that's listening, if the music's too loud, you're too damn old. You have a good night, guys.
You as well, bro.
All right?
All right. Appreciate you, Ricky.
All right, buddy.
All right, now.
Thank you, man. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Ricky Morton, man.
Hey, man, that was a pretty cool one for me, man.
Yeah, we definitely got to get him back on, man. I got so many more questions.
Definitely, and we definitely got to link up with him at StarCast for sure.
Definitely. Yeah, I got so many more questions about Smoky Mountain and
So much more stuff I could have asked. I was trying to prod a little bit into Movado's match a little bit, but yeah, man, that one was a cool one. It's cool to have them on, man, and true tag team wrestling, royalty, dude. Like when you think of the top tag teams, if you don't mention Ricky Morton, then I don't know what the fuck you're doing.
Wait,
and I wasn't born when they were big, but I went back and watched.
I mean,
like
definitely WWE Hall of Famers. Honestly, I felt they should have been a long time before they got in. It was 2017 when they went in?
Yeah.
I felt like they should have been
it was
in
Orlando. Yep.
Yeah, they should have been in a long time before that, man. So yeah, we definitely got to have Ricky Morton back on the show, man. But yeah, man. So I mean, just from your, you said you didn't actually see them when they were, in their heyday or whatever. But just from what you've gone through, what's some of your favorite Rock and Roll Express matches, man?
Obviously anything with
moments.
obviously with them, anything with Midnight Express. And one for me that I watched a lot of because as I've gotten older, like I've mentioned on the show before, I really love watching old Ric Flair stuff.
Right.
And man, nobody could take a ass whooping like Ricky Morton. Hot damn! I have watched that guy get stomped out by the Four Horsemen, but he would get people so pissed off, bro, that they would literally be about to jump the rail.
Definitely.
Like you don't see that anymore.
Definitely.
And what he's talking about right there, that's what's missing with tag team wrestling. And just the credibility, dude. Like he mentioned the Revival. Like the Revival's great, but if they're not given that credibility as a top team, it don't.
And that's one of the questions I wanted to ask him. I'm like, when did he feel that tag team wrestling not necessarily die, but when did the emphasis on tag team wrestling just fall by the wayside? One thing I've kind of noticed, and he kind of said it too, is like WWE is not a real big tag team territory for some reason.
And they never really were, though,
right?
When you really think about it,
right?
Like, people are like, oh, they got rid of tag team wrestling, but if you really look at it, WWE was never. I mean, they had good teams, but
right.
It was never like
they had great teams, but it's more like, hey, that guy's like the star of the team. I'm going to make him an individual star. You know, Shawn Michaels, you know, Bret Hart, two guys that stick out right at the top of my head. It's like guys that were in tag teams, started off in the WWE as a tag team, and then Vince McMahon was like, I'm going to grab that guy and make him into a star. Which, I mean, those are some of the greatest individual, you know, singles wrestlers of all time. But, I mean, you had great tag teams that came through there too, like a Demolition, the Road Warriors, Heart Foundation, you know, the Rockers, so many other great tag teams, man. I don't know if you listen to Stone Cold's new podcast. He just finally,
I haven't gotten to hear it yet.
Yeah, it's finally his new episode, man. He was like, man, he loves tag team wrestling, and
he's always said that, man. And like, there's just something to that. And like, even if you look at like NXT now, between like the Fatal 4-Way ladder match or
Definitely.
the stuff between one that I'll never forget, and this involves the Revival.
And
When it was
DIY.
No, it wasn't just them. It was. I remember this one in particular. Yeah, you can go ahead and ring the bell because I was there. But I say that because it was. I picked this match in general
Right.
because it was good tag team wrestling. It was them, AOP in DIY, the
Definitely.
triple threat match, WrestleMania weekend 2 years ago.
Okay.
Dude, they fucking went nuts. And when it's done right, it's all out war. But, you know, and that's what he's saying, you know, like them slowing down like that, man, like, and really making you feel what's going on, man, like that doesn't really happen
doesn't really
much
happen,
around
yeah.
anymore. That's why, like, even, okay, here's a perfect example. Like, recently they just had Ryder and Hawkins as the champion. Like,
Did they?
yeah. That's my point exactly. That's exactly my point. You got that moment, but then nothing happened.
Nothing happened after that, right?
You've got them wearing the belts and nothing happens with it. That means there's no credibility to it. When back in the day, like when they were champs, dude, like the tag team champions were essentially like,
Wait, like he said, you know, you had the Rock and Roll Express and Ric Flair on the poster, man. You know, selling tickets, man. That lets you know that tag team wrestling actually meant something. So I know this is kind of putting you on the spot, and I'm gonna put myself on the spot too, man. If you had to rank your top 5 tag teams of all time,
I'm not putting them in any sort of order, but I can answer who I think are top 5.
okay,
Obviously, not just because he was on the episode. I've told you this before. Like, Rock and Roll Express is definitely, to me, one of the best tag teams.
exactly.
As far as all time goes, I would say Rock and Roll Express was great.
Mm-hmm.
I would say, let me think of my favorite WWE tag team.
Go ahead, say it. Go ahead, say it.
I like the Hollywood Blondes. That's
Oh,
not
you
WWE,
motherfucker.
but
That's one of my
I
favorites.
like Hollywood Blondes because they tag team wrestled though. But I like teams that are like that where they were legitimately a tag team.
Right.
Oh shit, I didn't think of this.
Like I said, put you on the spot, man.
I'm trying. You go and name a couple of yours.
Well,
I'm gonna
okay,
keep
Rock
it
and Roll
going.
Express, Hollywood Blondes. I gotta say, Arn and Tully,
Fuck you.
the Brain Busters.
All right,
definitely.
now we're even, asshole. That was
I'm gonna say the New Day, man. I feel like the New Day, like Ricky said, man, they are a tag team, even though they're like a 3-man tag team. They're a tag team, and I'm gonna say the Dudley Boys, man. I've always been a Dudley Boys fan.
Fuck, bitch! I should have just kept going because you're just gonna say all of them. Like I swear to you, was gonna say both Arden and Tully and the Dudleys. But
Yeah, tag man. Hopefully, tag team wrestling does make a comeback in the WWE. But like I was saying, I was listening to Stone Cold's podcast today. He had Tony Khan on there, who is the man that is basically funding and you know the guy behind the scenes of AEW wrestling. And one thing that Tony Khan was talking about was that there's definitely going to be an emphasis on tag team wrestling in AEW, and they got tag team championships coming up. And then they're also going to have women tag team champions coming up too. So I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what AEW does as far as like the tag team.
Cody, yeah, I was gonna put LOD in there as well because they were one of the first teams you ever saw just beat the shit out of somebody, and they were one of the hottest tag teams I've ever seen.
They were
Like,
they were definitely
the
one of the
popularity that they had, bro,
Definitely.
and the longevity though. Like they were hot and stayed hot. Didn't matter where they went, whether it was WCW, NWA, WWE, all of them. Like they literally were hot everywhere they went. And they were, to me, in a lot of ways, were like the first of their kind. And even though people say Demolition wasn't a ripoff,
they were a ripoff.
They were totally a ripoff. Although they used more psychology than LOD did. But
that was my problem with LOD, man. It was like, yeah, they just pretty much beat the hell out of everybody, man.
But that's what they were supposed to do.
True.
Two big-ass dudes like that, that's what you're supposed to do. You're not supposed to be flying all over the place.
Yeah, true. I agree with you on that.
You know, and I think that's one thing that we see so much now. Like, dude, a big motherfucker like that is supposed to be beating the shit out of people. You cannot have a guy that is that big getting the hell beat out of him, you know, all the time and expect him to keep them as a badass. You can't.
Man, one thing that Ricky touched on that I 100% agree with is that if you want to get someone over, you get them over. And I've been saying for the longest that, like, I feel like, you know, Vince, I don't want to turn this into like a WWE, like, you know, bash WWE session, but they're the biggest company. They're the main ones that everyone talks about. And I've been saying for the longest, like, if they want to get someone over, I feel like they can do it.
It can be done.
They put their rocket on certain people, but it's like other people that the fans are like.
Would you say they kind of got to stick to? To me, it seems like they got to stick to a push, right? Like when they go to push somebody, like you've got to give them a full shot to get there. Here's an example lately with like tag team wrestling, right? Like I was a huge fan of these guys before they even came to WWE, but War Machine or Viking Raiders or whatever you want to call it.
What are they called now?
I still call them War Machine, but Viking Raiders. Right. I mean, you brought them into NXT. They beat the shit out of everybody, took the NXT titles, went to Raw. You know,
I think they were on last night, but that was like maybe the first time
they were,
like
and
weeks.
They won against a couple job guys.
And that's one thing Ricky said too. Yeah, job guys were there for a reason. They were there to put people over. And I here's funny. I was actually watching a little bit of Raw last night, and I saw the Viking Raiders out there, and what I heard was they really haven't been on TV in a while.
They haven't.
So, okay, you put them out there. They had their little moment with Daniel Bryan and Eric Rowan. Keep this going, though. That's the thing. Keep it going. Keep it going.
A match between those two teams would be good because even though they're a makeshift team, Bryan and Rowan are not a bad team.
Definitely, I agree.
I think if you put them together and actually had some matches, I think that would be great.
Wait, question. Have we had the AEW talk on the main show? Or did we just talk about that on 1105 Live?
We touched on it, but I mean, when we had Dave Silva on, we talked about it. But
no, I don't think we really dove really into it as far as like individual. We got 20 minutes. So, ever since Double or Nothing, there's been this big talk about AEW versus WWE. Where's all this going? Let's have this talk on the show right now, since I don't think we've had it on the show. I think we had it on like the Facebook Live. And
we're on Facebook Live now, but
on my on 1105 side.
I know. I'm just talking shit.
So, where do you see this going? Now we talked about this with.
I think they're going to be a legitimate number 2, and I really think that they can stay around. I mean, granted, now before I say that, I don't want this to sound contradictory, but I still say that you can't really judge them until like the TV deal is in place and they're running shows like every week. Because don't get me wrong, I thought Double or Nothing was great. Fighter Fest looks great. All Out looks great. I'm not saying that they're
Fight for the Troops in there too. Yeah.
I'm not saying that they're not going to be great shows. I'm just saying you cannot really compare them to WWE until they are doing weekly TV. And that's the other misconception to me is whether it's reality or news, behind the curtain, shout out to Vince, literally ever since it was announced, and it's natural, but you get AEW versus WWE.
Right.
Cody and everyone involved, including the people that have come over since, like Moxley and Jericho and everybody else, have all said, we're not trying to beat WWE. We're not going to beat WWE.
But
They've said that they want to cause change and they want to bring a legitimate alternative. And you've heard all of them in some form or fashion say, we hope that it changes the business and changes the way things are done. I think.
But when Cody goes out there with a sledgehammer,
don't get me
destroys
wrong.
the Triple H's throne,
yeah.
that's definitely a message towards WWE.
Well, I mean,
but
really,
no.
Triple H kind of fired the first shot. So.
I'll invest about that pisshead company.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, I mean, in that sense, I think that might have had something to do with that. But, I mean, really, I don't really think they're trying to take WWE over. Because at the end of the day, if there's one thing you know about Vince, and we talked about this Sunday at BCWA.
Yeah, with people. Yeah, we'll say that. People.
Like, literally, if anything else, if WWE starts getting their ass whooped by another company, now I don't think it'd be on something like a WCW extent.
Right.
But if they start getting their ass whooped, and the article that we shared off the page today from Forbes, that Double or Nothing had more hype to it than WrestleMania 35, Vince McMahon, if nothing else, isn't stupid. Right. If that happens for
business-wise, he's not stupid.
If that happens for long enough, I guarantee you something will change.
I agree.
People can say that creative's been as shitty as you want, but I'll bet you money if that TV deal comes in and they start kicking WWE's ass, even if it's only for a couple weeks, I guarantee you something will change.
And there's one thing I've been trying to emphasize is that, okay, yeah, AEW's had really one event, Double or Nothing, and then they have like three more coming up until the TV deal launches. They got Fyter Fest on the 29th. They got Fight for the Troops in July, and then they have All Out too.
Fight for the Fallen.
Fight for the Fallen. I'm sorry, Fight for the Troops. I'm thinking about UFC. But they have 3 events coming up. This quote unquote war doesn't start until October when that TV deal starts.
And that's the thing. People are so quick to talk about a war, right? I don't think it's going to be like this is not going to be like Monday Night Wars, bro. They're not going head to head, first of all.
They're not going head to head, but
they're going to be competition.
Yeah,
I'm not saying they're not going to be competition, but everyone's so quick to say, oh, they're going to be the next WCW. Right. Dude, they're not trying to be the next WCW.
And
why can't they be the first AEW?
And here's the thing you have to realize. Once that TV deal starts, they're going to go through so many growing pains. They're going to have to figure out, their niche, that it's going to take a while for, quote unquote, the war to actually take place. But one thing that I've noticed, I don't know if you noticed this too, and I talked about this on 1105 Live. AEW coming in isn't just going to affect, quote unquote, the WWE. It's not going to be a war just between WWE. It's affecting already, I've seen, your Impacts, your New Japans, and your Ring of Honors, your indie shows. Ring of Honor has a show coming up on September 6th here in the area, right? Now, if you look at the past Ring of Honor shows of like the past 3 years, they've been running in Royal Oak, right? Royal Oak Music Theater.
Well, they've been running Dearborn too, though. I've been to a couple of Dearborn.
But that's my point. So about 3 years ago, they were running Dearborn. Then when the Young Bucks and the Bullet Club got hot and Ring of Honor got hot, they started running the Royal Oak Music Theater. Why? More seats, a bigger venue. The show coming up on September 6th is back in Dearborn. Why? Bullet Club, quote unquote, or the Elite, they got their own company now. Ring of Honor might not believe they can sell out the Royal Oak Music Theater anymore. So you're starting to see the effects, not on the WWE side, but you're starting to see it on the indie side right now.
Well, in reality, when you really look at it, like being the Elite and AEW and all that stuff has already taken the indie game by storm. Think of it this way.
Definitely.
You had Chris Jericho and Kenny Omega show up at an indie show in Georgia and beat the shit out of each other.
Right.
If that doesn't tell you everything you need to understand about the type of hype that comes with that,
Right.
I mean, look at every one of those shows that they hit on the indies, while they were trying to build up Double or Nothing.
Right.
Every time, place went apeshit. It blew up the internet. I mean, if that's not...
You haven't heard Stone Cold's podcast, but Tony Khan was talking about angle that the Young Bucks and the Lucha Brothers shot down in Mexico. And whatever episode that aired on, that was their highest rated episode of AAA television ever.
I don't doubt it.
Ever. And AAA has been around for a long time. So that lets you know how much traction AEW has. But once again, people, you got to remember, they're a new company. They're going to have growing pains. They're going to go through the ups and downs. They got to learn how to run this thing. It's going to take time. Everybody, enjoy the ride. Relax.
Well, it's so funny how wrestling fans as a whole, like every one of us, myself included, you can't not think when you know that a company like AEW is coming around, like, yo, this could be legit competition. They could be a number 2.
Right.
But here's the thing. Since Jump, Cody, Kenny, Young Bucks, all of them have said they want to be an alternative. They want to be different.
Right.
They're not trying to be the next WWE or any of that kind of stuff.
Oh, but don't get me wrong. I'm hype as hell.
Don't get me wrong.
I was like, oh my God, can I? So I got something to do on the 30th. I literally was thinking like, can I fly down to Daytona to go to Fighter Fest and then fly back like the next day? Oh, I'm excited for AEW. I'm definitely am. But I think we all need to kind of just
don't get me wrong. There's buzz, and rightfully so. I mean, how do you not have buzz? I mean, look, they just sold all out in 15 minutes.
Let's talk about that.
I mean, first of all, son of a bitch, I was in there at 11 o'clock, and hot damn it, I'm trying to go. I will be there somehow, or come hell or high water, I'll be there. But still, it's still just that. When's the last time you heard a wrestling show, WrestleMania or otherwise,
selling out in 15
that
minutes?
Quick?
Wait, hold on. So when I was in Vegas for Double or Nothing, I was there. I was talking to Brandy Rose. Ring the bell for that one too. And I was like, so, Brandy, when y'all gonna quit bullshitting and just get a football stadium? Because I'm like, y'all selling out tickets like that. Y'all selling out these 12,000, 15,000 seat arenas in 15 minutes. Y'all might as well just get a football stadium and call it a day. But they're doing this in a very, very smart way. There's a mystique behind that, saying, oh, we sold out our show in 15 minutes. That means something. Now, could they probably sell out a 20,000 seat arena?
Sure.
Yeah, I think so.
Clearly they can when there's 30,000 people in there, but
but
at least they're being smart about it.
Yeah, they're taking their
I think
time.
Even though people said it was so stupid, I think it was smart as shit that they decided not to do anything WrestleMania weekend.
Oh yeah,
if that's not a big enough statement to prove that you're not trying to be the next WWE, I don't know what is, because if you're a new company,
every other company,
you would think that would be
literally every company in the world was probably there that weekend except for one.
Dude, you literally I can't wait till you go to Tampa so that you can actually experience it. I know that you went to Double or Nothing and StarCast, but there's just something
I was there.
There's just something different about WrestleMania weekend, only because, like you said, literally every company in the world pretty much is there.
But here's the weird thing.
And my point is, literally, if you walk around in whatever city they do it, at least now that they have all that, dude, you literally run into people left and right.
But here's the weird thing about Mania weekend. And the first time you went to Mania, I was supposed to go, but bullshit happened, and we'll talk about it. We ain't gonna talk about that. But I was literally thinking, hey, would it be wrong if I went down for Mania weekend and didn't go to WrestleMania? I was literally thinking about going down there and doing all the other stuff, like maybe going to NXT, but hitting all the indie shows around WrestleMania weekend. But flying back Sunday to make it back in time here in Detroit, because this is when we were doing our things at Bailey.
Yeah, I got you.
I'm like, hey, what if I just did all the Mania stuff, indies and maybe NXT, but fly back for actual Mania? I really didn't want to see Mania. I didn't want to sit in that stadium for 10 hours and watch Mania. And
now
like, but
that one I
that's,
can actually say was enjoyable though. Like I mean,
what was that, Orlando?
that one was.
But it's like, why was that even a thought? I've never been to a WrestleMania, but literally my plan was not to actually sit there and watch WrestleMania.
I honestly think that
arena.
a lot of that's got to do with just how long it is. Like, honestly, I do. And I say that because if it were still where it used to be, to where it was like 3, maybe 4 hours.
Wait, what was the main event of that Mania? I can't remember.
That main event of that Mania was you had Brock versus Goldberg. There was Undertaker versus Roman.
Orlando?
Yes. Brock versus Goldberg was for the title. You had Undertaker
Jericho
versus Roman.
and
Jericho and Owens was at the beginning of the show, and then you had
was that the year that Cena and Cesaro and Seth Rollins was hurt?
yeah, because
Seth
Seth didn't wrestle 33.
That's part of the reason why I didn't want to go, because like a lot of the people that I actually wanted to see.
What up, Major Money?
He'll definitely be a guest soon. But yeah, that was that was like the year where like I felt like all the guys that I really wanted to see weren't there, and then I was pissed off about the whole Goldberg Brock Lesnar thing.
Honestly, though, that actually ended up being half decent. I'm just saying.
I hear you.
And that's coming from somebody, and you can attest to this. I said myself, I'm like, I don't even know if like did I or did I not say that going into that. So that's not a damn thing to do with being fanboy. I give them that because that time they actually did what they should have did the first time. Both of them get their shit in, choose who's going to win.
Wait, we got a few minutes left. Real quick, did you watch Saudi Arabia Blood Money in the Sand Showdown Crown Jenna Jewel, whatever it was called?
I watched the Seth Rollins match.
Mm-hmm.
I watched the highlights of the Undertaker Goldberg match because I
highlights. That's a very interesting word.
I fucking
you just used there.
dude, I cringed, and like now that we're talking about this, like 6-year-old me would have been fucking losing my mind.
That would have been a great match 15
I
years
would have
ago.
lost my fucking mind at the prospect of that match.
15 years
Even
ago.
now, being a fan from back then, I still, okay, let's see what the hell's going to happen. But what we got, like, holy shit. Like, they said Goldberg concussed himself.
Before the
match.
And then during the match again. Two concussions in one match.
And then, oh my God, dude, when he picked up Undertaker for the fucking jackhammer, I'm just like, oh my God, he's about to fall. Like, and that tombstone, I don't know if that was like a receipt. I don't know if they said that's Goldberg. I don't know what.
I think that was on Goldberg.
Holy shit.
That choke slam was horrible.
Oh my God, that was bad. And here's the thing.
The look on Undertaker's face after that match said everything you needed to say. It was like, what the was that?
Dude, all I could think was Stone Cold Owen Hart. I just watched that, and I'm like, oh my God. Ugh.
That just reinforced why I don't watch the Saudi Arabia shows, man. I can't do it. It's political reasons why I don't watch it, but then it's just that. Like I heard,
dude, let's face it. And again, this is coming from both of us, and you've said this before too. Everyone can say they hate WWE as much as they want, or that they don't like what's on TV. Quite frankly, I haven't liked a lot of shit that I've seen on TV.
I haven't watched since
But don't get it twisted. We're all still fans of it. But I really sincerely hope that
AEW lights a fire under their
I
ass.
really do, because I've said this before, and I truly and 100% believe it. WWE is at its best when there's somebody on their heels. Even when it was just TNA with the whole
the X division,
yes,
and they had
or
Styles
when
and
they got
Snow.
Hogan and Bischoff. Again, it might not have been great, but still, just having somebody they were going against. I'm not saying TNA was great. I'm just saying them having somebody
I watching wrestling
to
completely
go,
during that time.
them having somebody to go against always has made them do well.
Oh, I agree.
And I feel like sometimes they get a little complacent, maybe, because let's face it, at the end of the day, they're the king of the market. They always will be the king of the market.
And they're probably welcoming AEW to come in and give them some real competition, because they had to literally manufacture their own competition. Like, oh, SmackDown versus Raw. That's not real competition. It's the same fucking company. But shout out to, hey, if you guys have the WWE Network, or you have a way to watch the WWE Network, watch 205 Live. Watch NXT.
Been
and
hearing
watch
that a lot
NXT.
lately.
Dude, they had 205 Live last week was great. And NXT is always good. NXT UK was really, really good the last couple of weeks. If you got the network, watch those shows, man. So
NXT is we've preached
NXT
their
is the best wrestling in the business.
We've
today.
preached their so oh my God, please let's go into that. Oh my God,
real quick.
So the only thing I got to say with that, and shout out to Sam Roberts because he only reaffirmed what I was already thinking. But like people were
glad I put you up on that podcast, man.
People. He is definitely, you talk about white whales, I'd love to get Sam Roberts on the show somehow or another. Anyway, but he mentioned it best. So you had TakeOver 25 and then you had AEW. Okay. For overall hype, I think AEW was hands down better.
TakeOver was a better show.
But if you want to talk about better show front to back,
TakeOver was a better show.
Every fucking match on that show was on fire. Now,
shout out to Chris James. He asked me that same question, man.
You know, like
TakeOver was a better show.
And that's what I'm getting at. AEW's on the rise, and they're coming. But again, you got to remember, you can't say that they're better than NXT or any of that shit yet because let's face it, they've had that one show, but you can't. NXT has a proven track record at this point.
I agree. Oh, real quick, and I'll say this, and we'll end the show. You know what's going on the same day as All Out, right?
Oh, yeah. Take over England.
WWE's paying attention, man.
Dude, well, come on, bro. If you listen to any of the interviews, which you'll be able to hear ours from StarCast this time. Anyway, cheap little plug. But anyway, dude, if you listen to the Dustin Rhodes interview or any of them that wrestled that night, dude, Dustin Rhodes said he had 30 fucking people from WWE hit him up the next day. And I bet you 100% that that's true.
They're paying attention.
Exactly. They might not be scared, but they're watching.
They're paying attention.
People are like, oh, they're scared. No, they're not. But.
Hey, Randy, how's your game going over there? Good?
I've been waiting for you to rap for like 10 minutes.
10?
6.
We're like 2 over. All right. Yeah, we're going to go ahead and wrap this up. So, Mr. Collison, any announcements real quick, man? And
no, man, other than make sure you come out this Sunday. We're going to be at the Buffalo Wild Wings with the boys from Breaking Down the Ring. If you're looking for somewhere to watch WWE Stomping Grounds, we will be there for every one of the pay-per-views for the rest of the year.
Wait, it's funny. Like, we just shot on WWE for like the past 20 minutes. It's like, hey, come on out to the pay-per-view, watch it with us.
But we didn't shit on them, though, because we also said, but we also said that NXT
Ricky Morton got shit on him, too.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's hard not to shit on some of it. I mean, if the shit's not good, it's not good, but that's not saying we're not fans of WWE, though.
But if you want to watch some not good shit, come on out the Buffalo Wild Wings down.
If you want to have a good time, I promise you'll have a good time with us.
Yeah, we'll be down there with the guys from Breaking Down the Ring. Shout out to Mikey, man. Buffalo Wild Wings downtown this Sunday for Stomping Grounds. Make sure you guys stay tuned. Our episode from BCWA, You Are the Father, will be coming out very, very soon. We had some great interviews from D-Ray 3000, The Frogun, Studio 86. Oh, real quick, man, let me go ahead and make this announcement. For those of you that weren't there at BCWA, you missed a treat. Our own Tony Thunder
won a fucking match.
He won a match, man. So
proud of him.
So proud of him, man.
Hell's pretty cold right now.
Wow.
I'm just kidding.
You said that, not me.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
I know.
It's a joke.
But, yeah, shout out to Tony Thunder, man. His grandmother was there, man. Came to see him win, man. It was his birthday weekend. Happy birthday, Tony. All that good stuff, man. I think that's it. All the announcements we have.
And shout out to our guest again, Ricky Morton, man. What a fucking honor. That's the second Hall of Famer. We've had many future Hall of Famers, but you know, it's such an honor to have a guy on the show who, you know, really helped pioneer tag team wrestling.
Definitely.
And he's already said he wants to come back on the show again, so we're definitely going to get the full hour with him eventually. Please check this out. Let your friends know. Like, he was dropping some knowledge on you guys, man. Definitely check this out.
Definitely. And make sure you guys hit up ko3cpod.com and follow everybody's social media. Like, subscribe, follow all of us on all the podcast platforms, your SoundCloud, your
Google Play,
Yeah,
Apple Podcasts.
Apple Podcasts, your Stitchers, your all that good stuff.
And I know it to be a fact because for a long time, my buddies that had Android were like, "Oh, we can't find you."
Yeah,
That's
you
bullshit. I've watched at least 4 of my friends at work have found us on different podcast apps. So fuck you.
So-
We're out there.
So, I mean, we're not getting any money for this, but hey, Podcast Republic is a great podcast app, and it's really great because I know we're on there. So, Podcast Republic for Android people, go ahead and check that one out, and you can get pretty much any podcast that's out there that's not on Spotify. You can get it. So, bam.
Yeah, I think that pretty much sums it up. Stay tuned. We're going to let you know who's coming out for next week in the coming days. And make sure you check it out in the podcast form if you didn't get to watch it with us live.
Definitely. So, until next time, people,
Fuck your couch.
take care of yourself. And oh wait, no, that's not my thing. Peace.
I mean, the couch thing's not his thing, but he says it anyway. So
Hey, I openly will admit that I stole that.